Week 3 is in the books. It was a crazy week. Lots of blocked field goals, some upsets. We're going to get to our NFL power rankings heading into week 4. So expect a lot of movement here with some upsets and whatnot. But before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of free content. Everything is free on the site. We have NFL picks against the spread. We have 2026 and 2027 NFL mock drafts. So we have these power rankings. We grade every signing. We grade every trade. We have weekly fantasy rankings as well. It's all at walterfootball.com and it's all free. All right, let's get to these rankings. This is going to be 32-1, so going upward here. The Saints are the number 32 team for the first time since week 1. I put the Dolphins here after their performance against the Colts, but as we've seen, the Colts are a really good team, or so we think right now. But the Saints, they just lost 44-13 against the Seahawks. Just a pitiful performance. A lot of that was special teams, to be fair, but this is a bad team. The only reason they were close against their first two opponents, the Cardinals and the 49ers, is because those teams just kind of fell asleep in garbage time, and the Saints were allowed to score some late touchdowns. That did not happen against Seattle, and I feel like that's not going to happen against Buffalo. The Saints are 16.5-point underdogs against the Bills, so good luck. Good luck, New Orleans. Number 31, the Titans, so they dropped one spot as well. The Titans are 0-3 right now, but to be fair, they play the Broncos, Rams, and Colts, 3 teams in Group B. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the Texans. I put the Texans, well, you get to see where I put the Texans, but the Texans are definitely not as good as those 3 teams. So maybe Tennessee will have a chance to get off the snide a little bit here in week 4. Number 30, the Dolphins. So they moved up 2 spots. They sort of kept it close against the Bills. I guess they had a chance to have possession to take the lead, but felt like Buffalo just didn't show up to that game. Didn't seem like their full effort there. The Dolphins are still really bad. Their defense is awful. Their offense has played a little bit better, but there's still a lot wrong with that group. Their offensive line can't block. Tua stinks. Von Achane is really the only bright spot. Tyreek Hill can be good sometimes, but he's definitely not the same player he once was. Number 29, the Panthers. So they won 30-0, and you were like, wait, why didn't they move up? I feel like Atlanta was just a no-show. They won on national TV in week 2 against the Vikings, and I think they just said, hey, we could just show up and beat the Panthers. And they were obviously wrong. And you just can't do that in the NFL. This is a young team, and by the looks of it, very poorly coached by Raheem Morris. But no, I'm not impressed by the Panthers 30-0 win. I think that was more of Atlanta just being a no-show. And then 28, the Cowboys, they dropped from 22 because CeeDee Lamb's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. They also lost Tyler Booker, the rookie guard who've been playing somewhat well. They're also without their center, Cooper Beebe. So this team's just a mess. Their defense is already terrible. Like, think about what they've done defensively the past 2 weeks. They let Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards, and then we saw Wilson struggle against the Chiefs. And then Caleb Williams, who'd been struggling, had his best performance of his career. That's how bad this Dallas defense is. Now their offense is bad too. So I put them in Group F here. These are the 5 worst teams in the NFL right now. So we move to Group D. The Bengals are 27. They look like a Group F team, but Minnesota, we'll talk about them in a bit, but they're definitely a good team now. Cincinnati is kind of dreadful at the moment, but they still have some offensive weapons like Jason Higgins and Chase Brown. So they could beat some of these bad teams, but like when they're confronted against a team with a good defense, they're not going to really have a chance with Jake Browning, quarterback. 26, the Giants, who lost to the Chiefs 22-9. Russell Wilson, kind of a predictable decline there. I hope no one bought into that and picked him up in fantasy or anything. He was awful. He's going to be benched at any moment, I think. I feel like he might have one more start in him, but if he struggles again, it might be Jackson Dart time. Number 25, the Jets, who move up 3 spots. They almost beat the Buccaneers. In fact, they had a lead with a minute left, and that was a Tyrod Taylor. And I don't think the Jets are as bad as the record says they are. They almost beat the Steelers in week 1. So in an alternate universe, they could be 2-1 right now, and Jets fans could be excited, and that would be misleading. So maybe this is for the best because we kind of know where this is going. Number 24, the Steelers. They won. They dropped 1 spot though. They were outgained 369-203. The only reason they won is because the Patriots committed 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles. Stevenson fumbled at the goal line. The Patriots just gave that game away. The Patriots were the better team in that game. Speaking of the Patriots, here they are. I don't know what Mike Vrabel's doing. Give the ball to TreVeyon Henderson. It's obvious that he's the best running back on your team. Ramondre Stevenson's a fumbling machine. He always has been. He always will be. Antonio Gibson's garbage. There's no reason to just not give Henderson the ball. I feel like some of these coaches are just really mentally challenged. Like I don't think they have logic. Like if you have a great player on your team, potentially a great player, we don't really know if Henderson's great, but he has the potential to be great. Like, why wouldn't you give him the ball? Like why are you giving the ball to scrubs? You guys, the Patriots benched Stevenson twice last year, and Gibson's a journeyman. He stinks. Like, give Henderson the ball. It's easy. Just do it. It's not difficult. So I think it's going to happen going forward now, given these fumbles. But it's kind of dumb that it took that sort of a loss to do it. So whatever. I don't understand. Number 22, the Texans, who dropped to 18. They're 0-3. Their offense is a disaster. They're favored by 7 against Tennessee. I don't even know if they can score 7 points at this point. They can't block. CJ Stroud's a mess. Their offense coordinator sucks. It's kind of maybe a downgrade from Slowick, which I didn't think was possible, but I guess it is. No, the Texans are horrible. They at least have a good defense, so they're not Group F. Jacksonville, who beat the Texans, move ahead of them. I guess these teams think. Number 20, by the way, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what's wrong with him. He had a tough matchup, but he struggled against the Panthers and the Bengals. So I don't know what's going on. Number 20, the Raiders. So 1-2, but they've played 2 tough teams recently. The Chargers and the Redskins. Granted, the Redskins didn't have Jaden Daniels, but still a good team overall. They get to go back to playing bad teams with the Bears coming into Las Vegas. Seems like a good bounce back spot for them. Number 19, the Browns, who upset the Packers. Great call by Quacky T, who does the show with me on Friday, the live stream. So come join us on these live streams. We usually go live around 10:30 to 10:45 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun on there, so definitely join us. And we have a great community there, and a lot of great back and forth with the chat. Number 18, the Bears. They move up from 21. Caleb Williams, as I said, the best performance of his career against the Cowboys. Granted, terrible defense, but they finally showed signs of life. They're doing some trick plays, the Ben Johnson stuff we were expecting. Took a couple weeks, but I don't know. We'll see if this was a mirage. Maybe it will be if the Raiders beat them, but I think I put them in Group C for now. That might be a mistake. Maybe this should still be in Group D, but we'll find out. Number 17, the Falcons moved down from 13, so I penalized them 4 spots here, but I think they're more the team that upset Minnesota in week 2 than the team that was a no-show against Carolina. I think if they play Carolina again this week, I think they'd kick their butt. So Atlanta is much better than what we saw on Sunday. Number 16, Arizona. So they almost beat the Niners, hung tough with them, but this is a team, and I think 16 is a perfect spot for them. The Cardinals can't beat good teams, and they always beat bad teams. That's all they do. So they are the most average team in the NFL. Number 15, we have the Niners, who moved down 4 spots, even though they won. They're 3-0. However, they lost Nick Bosa for the year. Bosa is one of the best defensive players in the NFL, but one of the best overall players in the NFL. So losing him is just going to be a nightmare for their defense. Number 14, Seattle. Kind of weird that Seattle's ahead of San Francisco, even though San Francisco beat Seattle. But again, this is Nick Bosa. Plus, Seattle has looked impressive since that loss. They clobbered the Saints, and they went to Pittsburgh and won by 2 touchdowns. So this team's looking pretty good, and maybe they're going to make the playoffs with their good defense. Number 13, Tampa Bay. They're still in Group C. I don't think they're a good team. They're definitely not a bad team. I think they're above average to slightly above average. They have a lot of injuries right now, though. 3 offensive linemen missing. Mike Evans dealing with hamstrings again. Kalijah Kancey's out. So they've only gone against teams in Group C and Group D so far. So this is going to be their first test against the Eagles. We'll see how they do. Number 12, as we grow into Group B, this is the Vikings. It's amazing what happens when you get Christian Darrisaw, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Harrison Smith back from injury. Like 3 of their best players. They go from struggling against Atlanta to demolishing the Bengals. I think we're going to see the Vikings just kind of reel off a lot of wins in a row here. Number 11, the Colts keep moving up every week. They keep looking more and more impressive. Jonathan Taylor, maybe an MVP consideration, definitely offensive Player of the Year, a front runner right now. This team is good, and they're 3.5-point underdogs at the Rams. It seems like they're still not getting any respect from anyone, but they should be getting respect. Number 10, the Broncos. So they're 1-2, but they lost 2 tough games here. So I think that they were leading at the end. Think about it this way: if NFL games were 59 minutes, they would have beaten the Colts and they would have been tied heading into overtime against the Chargers. So potentially 3-0 right now. So they're a good team. Their just records doesn't show it, but they'll catch up. They'll win some games. Number 9, the Redskins, who just won without Jane Daniels. I expect Daniels to come back, but could be a little rusty or maybe not 100%. So they could have a letdown against the Falcons, but that's not really going to change my rating of them. Number 8, the Chiefs. So they moved down from 7. They finally won a game. I expect them to play much better starting week 7 when they get Rashee Rice back. That's going to be a huge deal. Tyquan Thornton, though, is coming on. So he could be like a good, inconsistent deep threat for them while Rice does all the underneath stuff. So I think once week 7 comes around, we're going to see the Chiefs play better. Number 7, the Rams, who should have beaten the Eagles. They should be 3-0 right now. They outgained the Eagles 356 to 288. They had a 26-7 lead. This was one of the worst bad beats of my life. The Rams were plus 3.5. They like I said, they led 26-7. They were still covering in the last play of the game. As soon as the last play of the game happened, they're still covering. Of course, Jordan Davis had to return a kickoff for a touchdown. I talked about that in yesterday's video, or block field goal for a touchdown. He could have been stripped from behind. It was very, very foolish on his part to do it. I understand the excitement, but you have to think logically some part. And I said NFL coaches don't think logically. NFL players certainly do not. Number 6, the Chargers. They're 3-0. They look fantastic. 3 divisional wins. They look like the class of the AFC West. I have to think they're going to win the division at this point. Yeah, you can't count out the Chiefs, but the Chargers look really strong right now. Justin Herbert, given Lamar Jackson slip up tonight, I guess he's second now in MVP voting, so might be able to get some decent odds on that. Number 5 is we go into Group A. We have the Ravens, who dropped from 1 to 5. The Ravens could get back to 1 again, but right now they're banged up. There's no Justin Madubuike. I'm not going to call him Nnamdi Madubuike until he returns to action. He's still Justin Madubuike. His absence was huge. Kyle Van Noy also. Jair Alexander. Granted, he struggled in the first game, but still, they signed him and they were counting on him. So 3 key players missing on their defense, so no wonder they couldn't stop Detroit. Number 4, we have the Lions, who just beat the Ravens. So I guess the Lions are good, are still a great team, even though they lost both coordinators, even though they lost their 2 best interior linemen, even though they still have injured players on their defense from last year. They're still going to be great. They're still going to go 15-2 again, I guess. Number 3, the Packers. They crushed the Lions, so I guess they still have to be ahead of them. They just lost to the Packers, but I feel like they were also no show. Well, maybe like a little show. They weren't like a complete no show like the Falcons, but I think they took the Browns for granted. They had Dallas coming up too, so they were looking ahead to that because Parsons is going back there. Number 2, the Eagles, who are 3-0. They didn't really deserve to beat the Rams, but look, AJ Brown is finally coming into his own. Like he was injured the first 2 weeks of the season. He couldn't separate in week 1, but now he's healthy, and a healthy AJ Brown just changes this team. I don't think the Eagles are playing at their best right now, but they weren't playing at their best in last September when they lost to the Falcons and got blown out by the Buccaneers and nearly lost to the Browns. They caught fire in like mid-October, and that could happen again, especially if they make a trade. They could use another cornerback, and we know Howie Roseman's going to try to improve his team. He tried to trade for Parsons, so he's gonna make a move. I'm pretty confident about that. And then number 1, if you can figure it out, the Buffalo Bills. They're the team that beat the Ravens in week 1. They're 3-0 right now. Kind of a low effort performance against the Dolphins on Thursday, but they still won by 10. So kind of says something when the team doesn't play their best and still wins by 10. So they're the best team in the NFL right now, even though they don't have Matt Milano or Ed Oliver healthy. We'll see if that changes with the extra time from their mini bye following the Thursday win. So once those guys get back to action, they'll be a lot better defensively. So those are the NFL power rankings heading to week 4. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I've misplaced the team. I use this to handicap my my picks. So definitely give me all the feedback that you can. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of NFL content, new content every single day. And I'll talk to you in the next